It's so wonderful to be here with you and to be moving with you. Starting at the front edge of your chair, just go ahead and lean back to your chair. Start to tune into your breath. You're kind of doing that tucked under pelvis, and that's okay. This is where we don't want to be all day long. We're just going to start with some gentle lifts, going side to side. Just notice the habit of your legs. Does your lower leg always veer to one side? Do your legs always tend to drop open? Or perhaps even more common, do you tend to go towards the center of your body instead of staying in line with your hip? And nothing wrong with any of those motions. We might actually do all of those motions in next week's class, but we're looking for our habit patterns, and we're just trying to come back to neutral, to do something a little bit different with our bodies. Smooth inhales and exhales as you go side to side. Keep in mind that we do want to train ourselves so we can react quickly and move quickly, but going slower is more work in this case because it's a longer amount of time that you're holding your leg up into the air and your leg is pretty heavy. So sometimes take your time and really feel the weight of your legs and make your hip muscles that are helping lift your leg work a little bit more. And of course, tuning into your breath. I can definitely feel a little bit more of my core muscles firing when I go a little bit slower. All right, and then tilt your pelvis upright. If you have a block, that's great. If not, you can go back and forth from the floor to whatever you have to lift your feet up. And we'll start actually with the soles of our feet on the ground and our knees open. You want to scoot a little bit forward towards the front edge of your chair. Try to keep the soles of your feet touching with your knees dropping open. And from here, reach your arms out to the sides and we'll flex our wrists, turning our fingers down, and we'll extend our wrists. And while you're doing this, you can spread your thumbs out to the sides. Just notice if they want to keep curling in or curling up, and keep spreading the thumbs out. And breathing here. Relaxing any clenching around your neck and shoulders. If you notice you tend to clench a bit, drop your hands a little bit lower as you flex and extend. Breathing, reach out through your upper arm bones. If you are a person who, when you get down on the floor, it's your wrist that bothers you, and that's one of the reasons you don't get down on the floor, doing things like this more often without the load of your body weight on it is very, very helpful. All right, let's put our legs a little bit higher. So if you have a block, use the lowest height, soles of the feet together, knees drop open, pelvis tilts upright into neutral. And then from here, reach your arms out, hold that wrist extension with thumbs spreading out, and rotate your arm bones all the way one way and all the way the other way. If you get cracking or popping, the first thing to do is check that your ribs are relaxing down and back into neutral, but then just go slower, maybe a little bit less range of motion. Breathing here. It's not uncommon that if you haven't been lifting the arms up into the air a lot recently, that your arms would get tired really quickly. So just give them a break if that's the case. Breathing, or if you've been lifting your arms up in the air a lot. All right, turn your wrists down, extension, and rotate your arm bones here. All the way one way and all the way the other way. Keep bringing the soles of the feet together with the knees dropping open Tuning into your breath. Smooth inhales and exhales. All right, relax your arms and bring your feet up one height higher. And you can just, as I mentioned, go back and forth. If you just have one thing like an upside down garbage can or a footstool, you can go back and forth between the foot and the stool, or from the ground and the stool. All right, right palm faces up, palm of the hand faces the ceiling. Try to hold on to both sides of the finger as you pull the pinky finger down and back. So it is okay to just pull down from one side, but if you have some tight hand muscles, they might pull your finger into a slight bend. And I used to do one thumb on one side and the finger on the other side and bend back all the time. And then I just start doing the one side. And I noticed that I get a little bit deeper stretch when I bend from both sides. That being said, if your hands are really tight, one side is probably great to start out on. You don't want to do this gently, bending back through your ring finger. I'm noticing my feet want to keep falling apart, so I'm bringing them together, but relaxing my thighs a little bit more. And ring finger, or middle finger, excuse me, pulls down and back. Taking a nice breath for each finger, and pointer finger pulls down and back. And your thumb goes out to the side and down. All right, let's switch to the highest height with our feet. You can also have the block a little farther away from you, bring the block in a little closer. If your knees feel any tweakiness or pressure, bring the block farther away. Let's do your opposite palm of your hand facing the ceiling, maybe bend through both sides of the finger. So your thumb on one side, other fingers on the other side. Relax your shoulders, go over to your ring finger, pulling down and back. Check on the soles of the feet. Middle finger down and back. Check on the tilt of the pelvis. And pointer finger down and back. And then your thumb out to the side and down. Feeling your breath here. All right, release. You can take your feet off there, slide that block out of the way, and we're gonna start with a right leg, left arm, reaching up. When you bend your foot in, try not to scoot it back behind your knee. Try to keep it, if anything, a little bit in front of your knee. Left leg, right arm, and we'll go side to side. So opposite arm, opposite leg, or opposites. So simple, but just so wonderful for the body. Let's do one more each side. All right, from there, bend your knees. Let's spin around into our first lunge. So spin around, slide your knee back right underneath your hip, and ankle right behind your knee, ribs relax down, little lean backs here. Lean back, try not to let the knee pop forward, and come back to upright. Lean back, relax any excessive clenching around your inner thighs, buttocks muscles, and back upright. And hinge back, and upright, and go back, and upright. Slide that knee forward, spin around to the other side, knee back under the hip, ankle straight behind the knee, and backing up, and upright. And let's do that 3 more times. Pausing to breathe, to relax anything that needs to relax without losing the shape of your body. And that might have been 3, but if it was, we'll add in a bonus one. All right, come up and slide that leg forward. Okay, sitting up tall, extend your right leg. We'll turn it into a forward fold. Keep gently flexing the ankle. Relax the front of the thigh. Straighten the leg all the way. Come up nice and slowly and extend the left leg and fold over. So today we'll just work on coming up a little bit more slowly. So unwinding your pelvis to slowly come back up and bend that knee. Now take your right foot across and fold over nice and slowly, relaxing any clenching, and push down through your foot a little to come back up and switch. Left leg reaches across in front, rotating your pelvis over your thigh bones and pressing down to come up, and bring that leg back. Extend your right leg out to the right and rotating from the pelvis. And let's come up nice and slow, and left leg extends and rotating from the pelvis here, breathing. And come back up. Okay, from there, bring your legs back to hip distance, extend your right leg, really tilt your pelvis upright. You can even lean forward a tiny bit. Point, try to touch as many toes as you can down, and flex. Actively point. Actively flex, actively point, actively flex, actively point, and flex. Now slowly twist your outer edge of your foot forward, then the inner edge of your foot. Can you twist your ankle without your thigh bone rolling? Outer edge and inner edge. Outer edge, inner edge, outer edge, inner edge. Oh, and then bring that foot back, extend your left leg long, hinge forward a little bit, not too much, so that you can still move your ankle, and point and flex and point. Try to touch as much of the front of the foot down as you can, and flex. Point and flex and point and flex. And then from there, inner arch goes forward, thigh bone stays steady, outer edge of the foot goes forward. Inner arch and outer edge of the foot. Inner arch, outer edge of the foot, inner arch, and outer edge of the foot. And then step that leg back. All right, from here, let's go ahead and straighten our legs and bring our hands behind us. Hold onto the chair. You might want to walk your hands down a little bit if you find that you tend to hold your shoulders up a lot. You're just watching for your elbows going out and trying to point them straight back. You're not trying to squeeze together. You're just trying to point straight back. And we're gonna lift our chest up into the air, and then we're gonna drop it down and back. But notice when you drop it down and back, does your pelvis roll back? Try to keep your pelvis upright. Lift your chest nice and slowly, where we don't want to be all day throughout the day with our shoulder blades squeezing. And then drop your chest down and back. Ribs relax down and back. And lift up. Feel, breathe, chin down if you tend to lean your head way back. And dropping down and back. And lift up. And slowly relax down and back. And one more. Lift up. And slowly relax down and back. All right, release your arms, bend your knees. Let's go back around for a lunge. So slide your knee under your hip. We'll start with the ankle right behind the knee. If you're turned to the right, it's your left hand flipped out to the side. Circle your arm up and down by your side. Reach out as you circle up and down. And reach out as you circle up and down. And reach out as you circle up and down. All right, we're gonna move the angle of our ankle. So we're gonna put your ankle closer to the chair. There shouldn't be any tweakiness anywhere in the ankle, the knee, the hip. Try to not be rolling to one side of your foot. Try to steady your foot. So if you need to lessen the angle, that's okay. Reach your left arm out to the side, palm up. Reach all the way across the body and open up. Reach all the way across. Doesn't matter how far you go. Open up. Reach across without turning your torso and open up and reach across and open up. Now take that foot back to center and a little bit away from the chair. Again, be very cautious here that you don't feel any tweakiness in your knee. That word is the best word to describe it lately. I used to say like sensation. If you have any other words, let me know. From here, elbow pit forward. Let's sweep the arm up and pull down and back. And sweep your arm up. Without your ribs lifting, pull down and back. Sweep up without the ribs and pull down and back and sweep up and pull down and back. Okay, relax that arm, bring the foot back to center, take it back over to the chair, knee still under the hip, and little lean backs here, leaning back and coming upright. Hinge back, relax any clenching around the buttocks muscles, and upright, and hinge back, and upright, and hinge back, and upright. And then bring that foot back, take it a little bit away from the chair. A little goes a long way. Go slow when you first start this just to make sure everything feels okay. Hinge back, and upright. Hinge back, upright. And go back a little bit, upright, and one more time, and upright. Bring that foot back to center, slide your leg forward, spin around to the other side, slide your knee back under your hip, palm faces out to the side, circle the arm out and up, and down, circle out and up, and down, circle out and up, and down, and circle out and up, and down. Twist your foot over towards the chair. Take your arm straight out to your side, palm up. Take it across in front, and open out. Across in front, and reach out. Across in front, and reach out, and across in front, and reach out. Take your leg back to center. Take your foot a little bit out away from the chair, and arm goes up into the air. Make sure everything in the joints feels okay, and sweep straight back. Arm rises up, and sweep straight back. Arm rises up, and sweep straight back, and arm rises up, and sweep straight back. And then relax that arm bone, bring your leg back, take your foot back in, a little goes a long way, and we'll hinge back from our hips a few times. 2 more times. Pause, relax, clenching, breathe. Pause, relax, clenching, breathe. Upright, foot back to center, a little bit away from the chair, and hinge back here. All right, bring your foot back to center, slide it forward, spin back to the front of the chair. Let's walk our feet nice and wide. Take our arms out to the side, palms up, tilt your pelvis upright. Focus on your belly button turning, turn to the right. Try not to go from your hips. This is what it looks like if you start moving from your hips. Keep your legs steady, just the waist up, and turn to your left. Belly button turns to the right, and belly button turns to the left. Belly button turns to the right, and belly button turns to the left. Now turn to the right, hold. If your arms need a break, just bring them down, but stay in the twist. You can keep your arms out, drop them a little lower so they're in line with your chest. Keep turning to the right. Now twist your neck to the right and slowly to the left. Twist your neck to the right and over to the left. Bring your head back to center. Drop your right ear to your right shoulder and your left ear to your left shoulder. Right ear over to the right shoulder and left ear over to the left shoulder. Bring your head back up, twist, twist to the left. If your arms need a break, this is the time to relax them. Keep twisting and move the neck around. Arms a little lower than the shoulders. Turn and look to the left, just the neck. Turn and look to the right. Turn and look to the left. And turn and look to the right. Head back to center, left ear to left shoulder, and right ear to right shoulder. And left ear to left shoulder, and right ear to right shoulder. And come back up and unwind and relax your arms down. Okay, from there, walk your feet back in to hip distance apart, and we're gonna extend your right leg across your body, and you're gonna reach your left arm up and across, and then bring the arm down, bring the leg back, and left leg goes across, right arm reaches across, bring the leg back, bring the arm down. So opposite hand, opposite leg, right leg and left arm going across the body, and bring back. Left leg and right arm across. Right leg and left arm, and across. Across. And across. Okay, so now we're gonna do right leg out, left arm extends out. So it's like you're drawing a long line, and bend in. Left leg out, right arm out, and bend in. So opposite arm and leg. Right leg, left arm, extend out, bend in. Left leg, right arm, extend out, bend in. Extend out, and in. Extend out, and in. Extend, reach out. One more each side. Great, and then bring that arm down, slide that leg in, walk your feet nice and wide, still keep the outer edges of your feet straight, inner thighs open, really tilt that pelvis upright, and then circle your arms up and down. Let your breath flow here as you circle your arms up and down. All right, with your arms low, just like above your knees, without turning your torso, so keep your torso centered, reach your right arm across, doesn't matter how far it goes, and open low. Reach your left arm across, open low, arms a little higher, right arm across, and reach out, left arm across, and reach out, arms a little higher, right arm across, and open, left arm across, and open. Arms a little higher, right arm across, and open, left arm across, and open. All right, your arms are high, they're nice and wide. You can open them a little wider, sweep them down and back behind you, and back up into the air, nice and wide. Bring them in a little closer. Sweep them down to your knees. Lift them back up, bring them in shoulder distance apart. Sweep them down, lift them back up, bring them a little closer than shoulder distance. Arms come down and lift up, bring them in closer without your hands touching. Arms go down and lift up. How about hands all the way together? Hands go down and arms go up into the air, and open your arms with your inner thighs nice and wide. Hinge forward any amount. Feel your weight of push down gently into your heels as you fold forward, and press upright and walk your feet in. Okay, bring the block, or you can do your ankle on your knee inside your left foot. If you want more stability, try to really flex your ankle. You can do your ankle over your knee, but if your pelvis really keeps sinking back or your knee's up here, Do the block for a while, and sometimes we do the block either way. It's great to do different angles. As you'll notice in these classes, we do lots of different angles because that's what gets more parts of the body working. Whatever you choose to do, sit up nice and tall, interlace your right pinky finger on the bottom, and flip your hands inside out and spread your thumbs away from each other and back towards you. So I'm going to start holding like a few things throughout each class a little bit longer because a lot of times we just kind of flow through stuff, which is really wonderful, but sometimes it takes a little bit longer, 30 seconds to a minute of holding to change the muscles in different ways. So that's what we're doing right now. Press equally through the fingers. Watch if the thumbs keep wanting to go forward or in towards each other. Spread them out and back towards you. And then go ahead and release your fingers. Sit up nice and tall, twist towards your right leg, stacking your ears over your rib cage over your pelvis, and turning here, and breathing. Just holding the twist, letting that thigh drop open, being with your breath. Unwind. Seems like a long time, but it's really not long at all because we're flowing through stuff. It's like 30 seconds. All right, hinge forward. Try to keep a little weight on both hips. Let that thigh drop open and breathing here. Relaxing, clenching. If you tend to clench, relaxing, clenching over and over again. All right, come on up and let's switch legs. So block or footstool or upside down garbage can, whatever you have, or ankle over your knee. Tilt your pelvis all the way upright. Left pinky finger on the bottom, press away. Notice if your fingers do one of these, try to bring them more evenly. Don't forget about your thumbs. Notice if your arms are up here, relax your shoulders down a little bit, and breathing here. And release. All right, tilt your pelvis upright even more. Thighs dropping open, twist to your left, and hold. Try to feel like your ribs are stacked right over your hips. Relaxing down, ears slide back over your shoulder. Keep turning from the waist. Keep breathing. And unwind and hinge forward. And breathing. Flexing the ankle more for more stability in your hip. All right, come on up. So if you don't have a block for this, maybe be creative. Rolled up towel works. You could turn it one way and then you could turn the other way. You might not be able to do all the variations. You could do your legs all the way together, and then you could do turn your towel vertical and then turn your towel horizontal. But we'll put the block at the thinnest width between our knees. We'll tilt our pelvis upright, and all you're gonna do is squeeze for 10 seconds. So go ahead and squeeze your legs together. Keep squeezing Try to feel like you're squeezing your legs equally together. One's not working more than the other. Squeezing, 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 and relax. Now open a little wider. Turn the block to the second widest width and squeeze. Hug that block in. Squeezing, squeeze the block. Keep on squeezing, keep on sitting up tall. Relax your upper body, squeezing the block, and relax. Open your feet a little wider, put the block at the widest width, and squeeze. Squeezing, squeeze, squeeze, squeezing, 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 squeezing the block. Continuous squeezing, and relax. Okay, you can move whatever you're using out of the way. Now you're going to bring your feet back into a little closer than hip distance, and now you're going to fold forward and like hold your hands on your knees and push out, but your hands are resisting back. So go ahead and do your best to press out into your hands while they resist back. And start now. Press out, press out, press out, pressing out. Pressing out into your hands, pressing out, press out, out. Breathing, pressing out, relax. Walk your feet a little bit wider, about hip distance. And then you're pushing out into your hands and resisting back. Press out into your hands. Breathing, keep on pressing your thighs open. Keep pressing the thighs open. Pressing the thighs open, open, and walk out a little wider. And then hands to your thighs, leaning forward slightly, and press your thighs open. Thighs pressing open into your hands, resist with your arms, thighs pressing open, thighs pressing open, thighs pressing open, and very good, relax. Okay, with your feet back to hip distance apart, just take a moment to slowly fold over your legs. You can bring your forearms to your knees, you can bring your hands, you can reach your hands to the floor. If you get lightheaded, maybe don't drop your head down, but if it feels comfortable to do so, drop your head down, tune into your breath, and then push and grab whatever you have as a block and press into your feet to come up. All right, so block is good to start with. You can, over time, you can slowly pick up things that are a little bit heavier, but don't go from nothing to heavy right away. Hold on to the block between your hands. Since we're using a block, we can avoid using our fingers. If you have something awkward shaped, you might have to use your fingers a bit. And we're going to straighten our arms out. First thing is pelvis upright. You want to try to keep your ribs relaxed down and back the whole time like you're doing a crunchie. And as you lift your arms up, elbows like to pop out to the side. I want you to try to keep ribs down and elbows in as you lift and lower. And tap down. Elbows in, ribs down as you lift and lower. Breathing. Elbows hug in, ribs down. If your elbows pop out or your ribs lift up, then don't go so high. Stay within the boundaries of your range of motion. All right, hold. Elbows in, side bend to the right, and side bend to the left. And come back up through center, elbows in, twist your belly button to the right, and twist your belly button to the left. And come back to center and lower that block down. You can put that block out of the way. So last week, we stood up and sat all the way down. This week, we're gonna stand up and we're just gonna tap the chair. So walk your feet all the way together, big toes touching. If it's hard for you to keep your legs together, that's your work. You're not squeezing. If it's really hard, what you could do is have your legs be a little wider and put a block between your legs, but push down through your feet. As soon as you come up off the chair, back your hips up to press up to stand. Walk back enough that you feel very secure that the chair is right behind you, and then sit your hips back nice and slowly to, oh, sorry, we're not sitting down today, we're just tapping. Sorry, I sat down. So you're gonna sit back and you're gonna try to feel your hips or your thighs tap and press back to come up. Now, one thing you can look for, if you're just not focusing on keeping your hips back and everything, step your feet a tiny bit wider, not quite hip distance, is just one side of your body wanna tap down first. And as you sit back, if it's like your right side always taps down first, Try to go down and tap down at the same time with your left side as you go down. So we'll do 2 with each width as we change our feet. Please do watch as you step your feet into hip distance, and with all of these, do your knees roll out, do your knees roll in. Try to keep your knees the distance of your feet. Slide your hips back and tap, and back your hips up. Yeah, my right hip always likes to touch down a little bit first. So I'm trying to get my left hip to touch down a little bit like more so that it like happens at the same time. And press down and walk your feet a little bit wider and sit your hips back and push down through your feet. Come up nice and slow, and we'll do one more at this width. All right, and then walk your feet a little bit wider and sit back and try to touch down with both sides at the same time. Inner thighs nice and wide if they tend to clench in. And going down a little bit slower and tap back your hips up as you come up. Excellent. And then you can walk your feet back into hip distance apart. And if you want to up the challenge, try not to like have your arms in front of you. Uses momentum. So can you really relax your arms and sit your hips back? Relax the upper body. Tap. Relax the upper body as you push back up. One more time, really try to relax your upper body as you sit back and tap, and relax your upper body as you come up. And come around to the back of your chair, grab whatever you're using for a calf stretch. A rolled up towel works great, a thin block works great. Because we have the amazing part of doing this at home, you can do all different things. So a lot of times I do a block, or I have a half dome foam roller. But this pillow is a little cushier. It's probably a little lower than the block when I put my foot on it, but it's good because you want to stretch your calves here and here and here and here. You don't always want to do the same height. So put the ball of your right foot up, your heel down. You can step your left foot forward any amount. And then pause there. Ribs relax down, elbow pits wrap forward. Turn and look over your right shoulder. And nod your head yes, nice and slowly. And turn and look over your left shoulder and nod your head yes. And then bring your head back and let's switch feet. So put the ball of your left foot up, your heel down. You can step your right foot forward. Now let's say that you always use something a little higher like the block, and when you step your foot forward, you always lose your balance a little before you get it. Well, then that's a good sign to do something lower and see if you can step forward without losing your balance. Like, we want to challenge our bodies in all different ways. And I always tell people to use something different, but a lot of times I'll use different things when I'm going throughout my day, but I don't do it always on camera. And I need to be a better example. So I got to start getting out different things to do calf stretches with. All right, from here, let's drop your right ear to your right shoulder and slowly nod your head yes. Breathing. And bring your head back up and left ear to left shoulder and nod your head yes. Breathing. And bring your head back up and step off of there. Okay, let's go back to the right foot. Ball of the foot up, heel down on the floor. You can step your outside foot forward and out. Now put a bend in your right knee. Steer it towards the center of your foot. And you know, I do straight leg, bent knee all the time. I'm trying to add more bent knee in because I forget about it sometimes. But I found that when I do something with a bent knee and my foot's a little bit lower, I can feel that it's what my body needs. It's like, oh, you need this more than having your foot higher and doing the bent knee calf stretch. All right, let's switch. Slide whatever you're using over or walk yourself over. Put the ball of your foot up, your heel down on the floor. Looks like this from a side view. Ball of the foot up, heel down. You can step your outside foot forward any amount. Bend your knee. If it tends to steer in or steer out, steer it towards the center of your foot. And breathing. It's okay in this one that the knee travels past the ankle. Ribs relax down and back. All right, step off of there. You can move that out of the way. Now with our feet straight and our ankles hip distance apart, we'll shift our hips side to side, keeping your weight back in your heels. So this is your go-to when you're standing. First, you want to make sure you're not thrusting. This is really, really, really common. I recently had someone come up to me and tell me that their bone density score, they're starting with osteopenia and maybe some osteoporosis. Back your hips up over your heels and shift side to side. And the first thing I told her, so she came to me a couple weeks ago, the first thing I told her was, what parts of your body? Because a lot of times they don't tell you, which is kind of crazy because it's always site specific. And you can do something about it. If you know where your bone density is lessening, you just have to put a load on that bone and it will start doing what the body does, which is help your bones stay strong and healthy. And so she told me that. She came back a week or two later and said, hey, it's in my lower back and in one of my hips. And I said, okay, well, just stand how you normally stand. And even though she's been coming for my class, a lot of times there's too many people for me to specifically give little instructions to all the time. And so she was still thrusting her pelvis forward quite a bit. And then when she backs her hips up, she's thrusting her ribs forward. So those two things are key for keeping the loading over your lower back. So I had her start there, hips over heels, ribs relax down and back. And then of course she was like, but when I'm doing that, my shoulders and head are here. And I said, yep, that'll come next. We'll keep working on the shoulders, sliding the ears back over the shoulders. So alignment is so important for bone density, for avoiding other issues in the body. I'm not sure, I'm all over the place with this, but the other thing is same thing here. If you lean over on one hip all the time when you're talking, which is people either thrust usually or lean over to one side, then this leg is not getting the message to, grow bone, to load your bone, to keep it strong. And we tend to go to the same side over and over again. So yes, if you notice yourself here, come back to center, but if you have to stand for a while, your body's probably gonna get pretty tired, so you can shift your hips side to side. The other thing is that stand with your feet straight, ankles hip distance, back your hips over your heels, shift your hips side to side here, is that we go to the gym or work out intensely for an hour a day, but then the rest of the day, we hardly hold the weight of our body with our own bones and muscles. And being able to hold the weight of your body with your own bones and muscles, that's true strength, a lot more true than just an hour a day workout, because there are 24 hours in the day. What do I mean by we don't hold our own body weight? Well, we sit in chairs a lot, which is giving the work of our legs and hips away to the chair. We lean back in the chair, which is giving the work of our core to the back of the chair. I was just at the airport and I noticed you can keep shifting your hips side to side. Actually, I noticed because I wanted to do it. We're standing for like 10 or 15 minutes, which if you can do an hour exercise class, you should be able to stand for 10 or 15 minutes. I want it to do this. I want it to lean against a pillar. And when you look around, you see a ton of people leaning against stuff. When I went to the post office a month ago, every single person in line was leaning against the counter. It wasn't even a long line, maybe 5 to 10 minutes. So that is strength, when you can actually carry the weight of your own body, when you're not always leaning your hips forward into the kitchen counter when you're doing dishes or cutting up your vegetables or whatever you're doing, is being able to hold the own weight of your body. Sit back. Actually, let's walk back with 2 straight arms, 2 straight legs, and shift your hips a tiny bit side to side here. So catch yourself, notice that tendency of wanting to lean into things, of giving the work of your muscles away. And it could be, come on up to stand, it could be just leaning into your own body. It could be that. So it's not necessarily that you're leaning into something else. You could just be like always leaning into your body, which isn't using your bones and using your muscles substantially like we want to be. So keep catching yourself. Sit back into a chair pose here and go a little side to side here. Breathing. Yeah, I catch myself a lot wanting to lean into stuff. And the hip shift, just the simple standing hip shift, is amazing for breaking that habit. I mean, there's so many benefits. Just this in itself is one of the first steps to improve balance. Just you're shifting your weight to one leg, you're shifting your weight to the other leg. If you're starting out with someone whose just balance is totally off, this is where you start, and it helps all of us. It's so great for all of us. Okay, back to your chair pose, little shift side to side. Step your right leg back into a lunge, center the ball of the foot. How about a little hip shift here? Little goes a long way, very small. Hip slide to one side, hip slide to the other. Maybe you find that they slide to one side, but they don't slide to the other. Maybe you slide to one side and you're like, oh, I can really feel that. And you stay and take a breath or two and push off that foot. Sit back into your chair pose, a little side to side shift. And center and step your left leg back on the ball of your foot and shift your hips a little bit side to side here. Very small, just like you're going the width of your hips. You're not trying to go as far as you can. Your feet and ankles are staying pretty steady. All right, push down to step up. Ankles hip distance apart. Nice and slowly fold over your legs. Great time to keep your thigh bones rotating into neutral. Hips over the heels. Push down through the backs of the legs to come up. Now, if you feel tweakiness or strain or sensation in your lower back as we're doing these folds, step your feet open to two. Chances are you're doing one of two things more than you realize. You're folding from your spine and tucking your pelvis under, or you're really getting your tailbone back, but you're slightly thrusting your ribs forward, and your ribs need to come up. Both of those things will help keep your lower back nice and secure. Keep the ribs up if you tend to thrust. Keep relaxing the belly and the tailbone in the air if you tend to tuck. And push down through the backs of your legs to come up. And step your feet into three. And rotate the pelvis over the thigh bones. Push down through the backs of the legs. Take your time coming up. So for me, in this position, walk your open to four, I'm not so much of this. I don't fold from my spine. I'm pretty good about getting my tailbone up. If that's not you, work on that. But if you're pretty easy like me getting your tailbone up, what I tend to do, because it feels like I'm going farther and it uses momentum, is I tend to thrust. And I can feel the support being taken away from that area. So from the top up, I'm keeping my ribs down and rotating my pelvis from there. And it's also gonna make me use more of my legs. The more I thrust, I'm kind of taking the work away from my legs here. So like, what's a compensation pattern? All the time you're giving work to one thing and taking away from the other, just like when we're leaning against our walls. Push down through the backs of the legs to come up. Okay, we're gonna make our way in, but first, hinge forward here. Hands or forearms on the chair. Reach your right arm out and twist open. Keep your palm facing forward and only twist so much that the hand stays facing forward. And then tap down. Hand is fine, especially if you're a rounder. You probably want to stay higher up on your hands. If otherwise, ribs up, left hand reaches out, palm forward, twist open, tap down. Walk your feet into three. Right arm goes out, twist open, and tap down. Left arm goes out, twist open, tap down. Walk your feet into two. Right arm goes out, twist open, tap down. Left arm reaches out, twist open, tap down. Walk your feet into 1. Right arm goes out, twist from the belly button, tap down. Left arm goes out, twist from the belly button, tap down. All right, from here, weight back in the heels, sit back into a chair squat, press up. Step your feet a little wide. It's the same thing here. Any sensation in the lower back, you might be tucking under, knees going forward, back your hips up, back your tailbone up, or thrusting your ribs forward, ribs back up. When you back your ribs up, you should be able to do so over time without tucking under. All right, step open a little bit wider, sit your hips back, breathing, and press up. Walk your feet a little bit wider, sit your hips back, and press up. Okay, so we're gonna go back in. You're gonna try to sit your hips back and drop your hips down a little lower. Keep sliding your shins back, lower than your shoulders. So try to keep your shoulders above your hips, back your hips up, press equally through the feet to come up. Don't be in a rush, and walk your feet into 3. Hips sit back, maybe hips drop down lower, back up, press through the feet. Try not to thrust the ribs forward if you're a rib thruster, and walk into 2. Sit your hips back, maybe dropping them down lower, and press up to come up, and walk your feet into 1. Sit your hips back, maybe dropping down lower, backing your hips up, and pressing through your feet equally to come back up. Okay, 2 thin blocks side by side, an extra rolled up mat, a rolled up towel. You can use 1 block and just put your feet farther away. I'm gonna do this pillow and put heels, balls of the feet up, heels down, back your hips up, hands to the chair, forearms to the chair. If everything feels like it's closer to neutral, maybe bring your hands to the chair, back your hips up a little bit, and breathing here. Relax any clenching. Try to straighten your legs a little more. See, my knees still want to go forward. Breathing. A few more breaths here. All right, walk your hands up. Come on up nice and slowly. Come around to the front of your chair. Open your feet nice and wide. And sit back. And so it's the same thing when you're getting up and sitting down to the chair. Do you tend to tuck or do you tend to thrust? Ribs back if you tend to thrust, even as you're sitting down. And then with your feet nice and wide, let's do circles around our legs with our torso. Doesn't matter how big, tuning into your breath. And then pause and circle in the other direction. So you can do this 2 ways. One way is you could, well, there's lots of ways. There's lots of ways you can do every movement. But you can kind of let your hips lift up and go with you, or you can keep your buttocks down, which is going to make the motion smaller, but pull on the muscles differently. So if you were letting your hips lift up, you can do a smaller motion. Okay, you're going to kind of lean forward a little bit and go a little bit side to side. And you're looking for a place to stay. So as you go to one side, pause and stay there. And we'll do each side, but you might be like a little farther over, a little bit more to center. Just stay somewhere and breathe. So sometimes it's not that leaning against stuff is bad. By no means am I saying resting is bad. You want to put your feet up. You want to let your pelvis tuck under. You want to sit back in that comfortable chair or whatever it is, or lie on the grass. And sometimes, like right now, I'm leaning my body weight on my leg. I'm giving it away to my leg, but so that I can focus on this area of the body instead. I could also lift my arms up and I'm leaning over, and it's more work for your core when you're not leaning your arms into something, but it's doing something different for the body. So by no means am I saying it's always bad to lean, but just think about it, go to the other side, about how you see people leaning all the time. I'll be talking to someone and find myself like gravitating to leaning on the counter or something. And we learn it by watching the people around us. It's like, oh, this feels better. But it probably won't make your body feel better in the long run if you do it all the time. All right, come back to center, come up to stand. Let's sit up and spread our legs wide here, any distance. Let's stretch the front of our throat. So put your hands on your breastbone, pull down on the skin, lift your chin up in the air, and you can push your bottom lip or your bottom jaw forward. Just staying right there is wonderful and nice. You can move your head around a little bit, chin goes to one side, and then you're looking for different stripes of tension across your throat. You don't have to push your bottom jaw forward, but you can. So good for so many things in this area, circulation, different parts of digestion, but added bonus, it can help keep this area more toned over time. Okay, let's put your opposite hand on top. Now, you might have been moving around or you might have been still. Do the opposite. So you can just find an angle and stay still, or you can move around. Maybe find an angle and take a couple breaths and then find another angle. I'm just liking this straight in the center. And release. All right, from there, go ahead and bend your knees. Grab your ball, tennis ball, this is a racket ball, any kind of bouncy ball that's not too hard to start with, and let's just roll up and down the foot. We're gonna do a minute on each foot, and most of the time we roll back and forth to get all the parts, the outer edge, the center, the inner arch. You're just going from about the base of your toes to the front of your heel. But sometimes you can just stay and work on one foot. So let's try you're getting a habit. You've heard me talk about how important the feet are and how much they'll help the whole health of your body. Some days you might roll them back. You don't want to miss any part of your foot. You want to make sure you do some days where you are getting all the different parts. But maybe one day you just stay on one stripe, like you found a stripe of tension, or your inner arches need work, or you're working on balance and you're just going to try to, on the outer edge of the foot, stay there, which is challenging to do, but roll the whole time there. Like for me, my second toe curls up a little bit and I know that I have tension in this stripe of my feet muscles, so I'm going to stay there and I'm going to roll there for the minute. So you can go back and forth all over your foot, or you can stick with one stripe, or you can just even do one little area and rock yourself back and forth and kind of dig in like you're giving yourself a gentle but deep massage in your foot. And yeah, as I roll this stripe, it's like my foot is yes, this stripe connects up into your lower leg and goes up into your upper leg. And if this stripe learned to relax a little bit, your body would feel even better. All right, let's switch feet. So if you want to, you can just start out with going all over the sole of the foot, not missing any area. And then you can choose one area. Let's say sometimes when I'm driving, I feel extra tension along my inner thigh groin area because of the position of my leg and the way I'm pressing with my foot. So for this leg, I'm going to stay right on that super inner arch area and just roll it around there. But you can choose whatever, or you can just go back and forth. And I might go up and down my inner march. I might stay in one little crevice and just like wiggle it around in there. It is all connected. The nerve from the foot goes right up the leg. A lot of our lower body things start in the feet. All right, and let your foot come off of there. How wonderful. Straighten your legs, flex your ankles, fold over your legs. If it feels good, you can drop your head down. Check if your thighs are really internally rotated. Rotate them out just a tiny bit. And then sit all the way back in your chair. Let your gaze soften or your eyes gently close. Become very present with your body and with your breath. Staying present with your body and your breath. Tune in to cooperative purpose. Everything on earth has a purpose. Bees pollinate our plants, ants aerate our soil, trees release oxygen. Each organism works independently for the good of the collective. As a part of our whole, you too have a unique and special contribution to make to our planet. Consider what your role is in your own ecosystem, be it home life, school, or work, and how your purpose benefits the collective. So, our purpose could be something grand if that's what we choose, but it's really important that people have different purposes, and small purposes are just as meaningful as having a large purpose. who's to say what's larger or smaller based on how many people it impacts. But let's say you're good at being funny and making other people laugh. That's an amazing purpose. If it's easy for you to smile at people, smiling at others is amazing. If it's easy for you to say kind words to others, that's an amazing gift to everyone. If you're not a people person and you're good at reading about stuff and then putting something out there that tells people about what you've learned, that's amazing. So there are so many amazing ways to be a part of the collective, and I really like that because that's how the body works as well. Like each part really does have a unique purpose, and when they're all doing their purpose, everything works so much smoother. And so look within yourself, because sometimes we focus on what we need to work on as far as this part of my body or this is not going right in my life. And today, look within yourself and remind yourself what's going for you, like what's naturally just there for you that you've already got going on, that you know you're good at. It might be drinking water. You might be great at drinking water every day, and then you're an amazing example to anyone who sees you taking more sips of water or going outside or sitting on your front porch. Like anything that supports your well-being can be a part of the greater purpose. Bringing our hands together at heart center in gratitude for this day. Namaste.